Hello! Oh, taking a moment for the webcam to read. Awesome. Just unplug that, reconnect it. There we go. Alright. Hello! It's like, yay, tech issues, because, well, that's been my day. Alright, so, yeah, welcome back. We're back to our crystal ship sailing through the galaxy. And we're gonna see if I can find all of my, my Neocolor 2s that I had originally out. I put them away so I can use my desk in the meantime, because a week is kind of a long time to keep a small desk covered with stuff. But, just throwing the foam over here. Go ahead and get all these colors out. So, all the fun stuff. So, hopefully you guys have been doing good. I feel like there's a lot more noise in the background of my stream today. Seeing what my volume levels are at, they should be set to go ahead and kill most of the noise. I know I'm fiddling with some settings because it's showing yeah, like there's a lot. Oh, my noise suppression's off. That's why. Alright, so turn it back on. Oh, that looks a lot better. Alright. Yeah, my noise suppression and my noise gate were off, and I forgot that I needed to redo those settings every time I create a new background. So apologies for the past 2 videos that I did, that you guys were hearing a bit more noise than you normally would. Luckily, it seems that like that's an instantaneous change, and that way you're not just hearing the hum of like the air conditioner. I turn it down when I stream, but it's still running. It's Tom Petty's ghost taking revenge for you blaming them last week. Yeah, I'll blame it all on you. That's Rowdy Robbie here in the chat. Great, so now that I've fiddled with my noise settings, I'm gonna dig out my my Neocolors. So we have purple violet, indigo blue, Prussian blue, royal blue, sapphire blue, yes, cobalt blue. I think I actually got most of them like in order. Oh, there's sky blue. Light cobalt blue, turquoise blue, and white. And just putting the Neocolors back away. I think that might be all the colors I go with for this one. It is probably a little bit more of a broad palette than some would pick, but I kind of like the diversity and knowing that, you know, the difference between like cobalt pigments, they tend to be more granulating, and then you have the white to give that like, creamy pastel effect for like galaxies. And I will do a quick moment to catch a beverage before we really get in here. Meantime, I should actually fix my camera now. Camera mount's just slightly angled. Ew, that's awkward. Alright, there we go. Everything's centered. Beverage. had a, sounds probably a bit petty, but I had a nail polish fiasco last night. Apparently, like, the under layers were still wet. I went to sleep, so I woke up and they looked terrible. And now they're repainted, but I haven't cleaned up the edges, so it's slightly less than desirable. I normally wait until they're like good and dry before I'm like really picking at the edges and cleaning them up. I used to get to them like while they were still wet, but like I bump into nails and whatnot. I'm fairly clumsy, so it used to be a lot messier trying to clean them up while the nails were still wet. And I would just mess things up all over the place. It's a silly thing. So at least they're redone to the point that I don't feel too awkward having them on camera. They're not the prettiest. Brush. I'm gonna grab my long round. I don't know if I'm gonna use it. Excuse me. Okay, and grab my regular number 8 round. So I figure that it's worth having the long round out because we'll probably be doing some of the painting for the ship itself. Wish I remembered. There it is. I'm gonna grab my my kneaded eraser to go ahead and lift up some of the lines on the ship a little bit. Because I don't think I need it quite that dark. Like, it's handy for sketching and for you guys to see. Just need to knock that down some. Peeling off the plastic because I am very, very fond of keeping these guys wrapped in plastic. My favorite types of kneadable erasers are actually the ones where they come in a little case. You just put them away in this nice little plastic case. They're not making a mess somewhere. And I know a lot of this will be covered, so I'm not worried about lines sticking out too much. Apologies for any camera shake. I tried to just blot to lift it, but it seems a little bit more aggressive. And I am actually lifting some of the pearl ink, so I might have had a little bit too much water on my brush when I was initially doing that. Is that able to lift? Well, that lets me know that I probably need to seal the surface. I am slightly unhappy with that though, lifting, because it means I'm getting pearly bits on my eraser, and I don't know if that might transfer onto another image at some point, so I'll probably just lop off that section of eraser and use it for shiny metallic things. Fun stuff. Life gives you all kinds of fun challenges. So, hopefully your week's been going well. I'm gonna knock these lines down a bit. Graphite's got a slight sheen to it too, so if I do transfer any pearliness onto something else, then yeah, it's not the end of the world. It would be really fun to do a similar metallic base, but instead do like a phoenix and have those flames whipping around all over the place. There's gold base, and I have all these wonderful reds in this set. I actually did pull out another one of these canvases, which has been knocked around under my desk in the past week. Is it even been a week? No, it's been like 3 days. I had this thing sitting out, and it's been getting beat up. We'll survive. Alright, so just checking the comments as I'm kind of gearing up. This is one of those moments where it's like, I gotta work up courage to mess with all this wonderful pigment that's dried down, and it's not always easy to just dive back in. My allergies are deciding to act up again. Oh, because my allergy meds are wearing off. Awesome. Alright. There will actually be another pause because once they're wearing off, it takes about a half hour for them to kick back in. So let's do that. Quick pause. Well, not pause, but a mute. On the back. I didn't go far. It's right by my desk. But yeah, I take 4-hour stuff. It wears off pretty early in the day. But I prefer to take the lowest dose of what I can get away with. Just because I don't know how long allergy meds are gonna keep working for me. Like, my mom got to a point where she was doing, I don't know if she still is, but she was doing, like a yearly allergy shot and taking allergy meds on top of it. It's like, getting a little crazy. I gotta grab my swatches. Looking at some of these tones and... one side. Over here. I'm forgetting which ones of these are more on the blue side, more on the violet side. Prussian is my deep blue. Okay. So I need to build up the value darker up here, even though I do like this little patch. But yeah, there's a couple spots. I was tempted to go ahead and fiddle a bit in between, just so I would have some of these sections like drying down by this time of the stream. But I was good, so I leave it alone. I would do it all straight on camera during the stream. And I'm gonna bring in a little bit more of that Prussian blue up here. That night blue is also really dark. Did I pull that out, or no? I pulled out the indigo. That's fine. We'll put them both up here. I like how I have that vignette effect, making these edges really dark, putting the focus here because over here is going to be the lightest values. I still haven't decided what colors I'm going to do for this planet over here. And I also want to fix this. I want to give this more of a ethereal kind of atmospheric effect. So, work in progress. It's not just all scribbling. I'm gonna go back and forth with the Prussian blue and the... is it indigo? Yeah, indigo. I keep seeing the night blue. And it's a pretty color too. I didn't grab that for this. A little darker up here. do want to kind of bring it around a little bit. Brush it on. So one of the big things was like I wanted to soften this edge before today. I'm just going to kind of roll with it. Don't know quite what's going to happen with this spot up here. I really like that initial, but once I add water, who knows? That's kind of the fun. It's not knowing what's going to happen with everything. I think I'm gonna go a little lighter too. Do some of that royal blue. I'm kind of being a little bit more directional about the pastel strokes right now. I don't know if I'm gonna keep going that way. We'll see. So stuff's been staying in focus pretty well. Don't worry too much about that. You can still see some strokes underneath. That's gonna kind of be part of the charm of the learning experience. It's not knowing what everything's going to do. Let's see, we'll go in with a little more indigo down here. I do want to lighten this particular area. Maybe I'll do that first. It, rinse it, come back through, so gently lifting. I'm not trying to be too harsh. I don't even want to lift all of it. It's just kind of a gradation going on between like the surface and the atmosphere of this planet. That's what some of these linear strokes are, really close to that edge where that pencil line is. Probably a mistake wetting that early, but yeah, find out. Where the pressure blue? Transition that from the violet into some blue. I was thinking, I wonder if there's any like electrical storms that happen out in space. So that would be a really cool effect, having some lightning like off in the distance. Dark here. So I saw an awesome thing online a couple days ago. So one of these miniature sculptors is working on Beetle Gust. That's what she's calling it. So it's during August while she's working on her miniature house that's like all Beetlejuice themed. I'm like, I may need to be working on a sculpture next week. Because this should be done. I feel like this will be done today. Or if it's not quite done, it'll be near enough that I don't feel bad about doing the rest of it off camera, kind of thing. So let's get into some pigment. I can only drive that pigment up this way. And just occasionally dabbing the brush a little bit because I wanted to transition and fade into like what I already have going on. I'm not trying to create like disruptive passages. This is kind of like the unifying phase for the background. Though I'm going to be careful not to really mess with what's around the ship So I do want to start applying some color to the ship itself. Kind of like these areas were bugging me too much composition-wise, so we're diving here first. And sometimes I'm just dabbing my brush into the water, other times I'm actually rinsing my brush, so I can start off with a new clean section of pigment. And as far as when, why, it's anyone's guess. I think that effect is just gonna get lost. We'll leave it alone. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna dampen this a little bit, make it run this way. Mix and mingle a little. One of the other things, like, that's going to be a little different about this than a lot of watercolor paintings that you probably see online is that this is a board, it's not watercolor paper. So the water is not soaking into this at all. It's not going to, it can't. It can only dissipate so much with a gessoed surface. So basically you're just waiting for stuff to evaporate and you're playing around with the water standing on the surface. I want to transition this a little bit more, so I'm grabbing that cobalt blue. It's the greenish toned color out of this palette. A little bit of that here. That's one of those things I've been looking at for a long time. There's a cobalt watercolor collection from M. Graham. That'll probably be the next time I get really splurgy on paints, other than some Da Vinci sets that I was looking at, because they had a really good deal. And, like their sets of 6 for $40, which averages quite a bit less than $10 a tube. It's a good deal for that amount of paint. And I've been finding myself drawn to like some really strange colors for me. If there's anybody who knows me, you'll know that I'm not really a pink person, but I don't know, some colors have grown on me a little bit. Like I could do like a quinacridone coral is really pretty. Like I really like the ones that are like blazing hot in the summer. It's a very, very tropical kind of palette. Hence my background. I'm gonna try to push this blue back up here. I think maybe I need to grab some pigment. I don't want it to just be standing there. I'm gonna do this move a little more. I also want to kind of be careful. I don't want to have the background take over the whole stream. Definitely not my intent. Let's see. This whole patch of blue just chilling here too. Mix, new stuff. Maybe it'll look like clouds. Pull the brush a little bit, just pulling around. Oh, give enough time, I bet it can. Grand Canyon and all. Yeah, well, yeah. Trying to break up this blue a little bit. I didn't want it to get right into the edge of this planet's atmosphere, but I also don't want it to just sit there. Like these strokes. It is kind of eating into that really pretty speckled texture that I liked. I might put that back though. Yeah, why not? Alright, let's pastel. Blam. Let's see what that does. But should put some of that speckled effect back in. Alright, now for the ship. I hope I have enough pale-ish tones for this. I also need some contrast. What do I use for contrast? Grabbing my swatches. What I might do is scribble on this sheet of paper a little bit, and then lift the pigment from there. Just so I can be a little more precise with application. I'm gonna do very pretty like blue and purple tones, which is like pretty much all the pigments I have out. Maybe I want to go over a chunk of this with that light cobalt blue first, just to help tone down some of the pencil lines. What color would I want my sails to be? I don't know. Don't ask me, I don't know what I'm doing. That was intentional for this. It's not having everything decided and defined. It's kind of play. And so many projects lately where it's like everything needs to be decided and clear cut. This is my little act of rebellion. Like, I'm just gonna mess around and see what happens. Because sometimes it's the best way to learn a new art supply. And this is going on with a lot of that light cobalt blue hue. I have no idea what pigments they put in it. That's okay. It's a very soft pastel, just to let me go ahead and darken areas as I need to. And still be able to lighten things because the white pigment's supposed to be pretty opaque with this set. I didn't come back into here. That's alright, we'll get to it. All the other things are like trying to go. Oh, over here, over here. Ew, I'm on this. So, because of the melody, not because of the, not just because of the lyrics, but like the main part of the lyrics is where I got the idea for the concept. I was just thinking Adrift and the way that the song Crystal Ship opens, where it's, I think it's actually the Crystal Ship. That's kind of where I was with just piecing it together with the Adrift theme. Let's see, this is the turquoise blue. I feel like I need some turquoise for this ends. For those, they'll still give it the nice cool tones. Added a touch of sky blue in. Give it the turquoise. Master of the obvious eye is nice. That's not turning out too bad. Looks kind of like a cloud. Not a bad thing. Really gotta figure out what color that planet is. Maybe they're only blue in the shadows. We'll see. And the nice thing about this is, like, it's got that satisfying, like, waxy lay down of, like, crayons from when you're a kid. It's kind of nice. For right now, I'm still going in with the regular number 8. I'm soften those edges up. And that brush is way too wet for what I'm trying to do. Alright, pigment will run a little more than I expected. I'll just lift it out a bit. That's fine. That is kind of the nice thing about working on, like, a hardboard surface. If you haven't played with watercolor on top of a hard panel, like an aluminum panel or a gesso board, I definitely recommend it. It's got some interesting challenges, but you'll find that you're able to lift pretty well. Sorry about that. Rubbing my mic against my my shoulder for a moment there. Really do want to wet the whole surface and then lift out instead of just letting the paint sit everywhere. That's easier for nice gradated finish. I'm gonna leave this one alone in the middle. Just do this one on the edge. I don't want these all to run into each other. It's good. Take a moment, let it dry a little bit. That. Just realized I haven't officially dictated a light source here. Like, this is a spot that is light, but maybe there's a sun over here. I do have a lot of, like, light movement coming over here. This was a little bit strong. It's not actually touching the edge. I'm okay with adjusting it now. Lot, and back into working on this one. This one should be dry enough. It's not going to run into each other. I hope. Yeah, I really worked most of the pigment over this way. And just slowly pick up what I don't need. There's a really subtle effect on here. That's alright. I want this to have a very, very subtle flow to it. I haven't gotten the other flag because I'm going to do an initial wash on the ship. I'm going to take all that light cobalt, get that all dissolved. And 2 reasons why I'm doing kind of a really light base. For one, it's going to make it a little easier for me to carve out shadows and highlights moving from there. I'm also going to help soften some of these pencil lines that I felt like were still a little dark. And also gives me a little more time to decide what other colors I really want to this mix. I'll wind up letting that dry a little bit, and then we'll move over to one of our planets here. I'll probably go with the blank one just because there's nothing going on. Most of over there should dry. Too wet. That area could actually have been avoided. It's okay. It's where the cannons are. It's one of those, like, do I need to have cannons on my ship? Thinking about me, probably would have cannons on my ship. Even if it's meant for a peaceful mission. I kinda like that. Like, even though it's pretty subtle, I like that. Alright, so now I do actually want to do a little bit more with that, like, cobalt blue. Just go in architecture. As well as I can. This nice little balcony thing and stuff going on there. I'm also gonna really blot my brush dry. So wet that pigment real quick. Could dab that a bit drier. That's alright. Stretch that around a little bit. Just pick up where you need it. I'm really enjoying the current album from Dark Fantasy Studio. This one is Shadows Code. It's very like D&D heavy. At least that's how it sounds in my brain. I might even play it in the background for myself. We have a game session later. Now this is doing something kind of neat over here. There's this like neat little break there where it is appearing kind of like clouds. I'm gonna leave that one alone. Not like this one where I broke up part of it. Yeah, planet. Yeah, let's work on our naked planet. I have a box attacking my foot. Stay over there. I don't need you on my foot. I still have my shells over here. I have an idea for like a wall hanging. I just haven't figured out what I want to use for the stick, because like I don't live where like I just have driftwood sitting around me. A nice piece of driftwood would be awesome. Oh, that's what I meant to do too. Right, so while I'm like stalling to figure out what color this planet should be, I'm gonna dissolve a little bit of that edge over here. And just kind of sweep it back here and blend it in with the surrounding area. But this is still a little wet, so it's gonna do some weird things. It's okay. Invite that surprise. I really want to leave this whole bit alone. My little guy's fussy. He should be napping. He is well overdue for a nap. But we'll see if he's got the sense to take one. Think we haven't done a lot of the sapphire blue. It is pretty bright. I might need to go in with something else. I do have those kind of like linear strokes from when I lay down the iridescent silver, iridescent bright silver. Just gonna keep going like that. I'm thinking like Jupiter here. I want to do some marks with the that like cobalt blue hue. But I also want to bring it like quite a bit darker as it works off the edge. And that sapphire blue is really vibrant. And it's going to put a lot of focus on here, which I don't specifically want. But I can mix it with other stuff. So just some other oil blue. Bring that in. Across here. Royal blue is a little bit more of a violet tone. Just kind of mingle a little bit. I want to make sure I have just enough separation between this and the other areas so that I'm like fading this into the background. It's not disappearing into space quite. Be a little lighter around this edge. The Prussian blue isn't that deep. I am tending to use it towards the edges, but it's not the only color. The Indigo Blue is probably the darkest value for the colors that I picked for this. We have that mixing with the light cobalt blue. And taper off a bit, get darker down here, why not? It's going to be a probably not too vibrant planet. Coming down here with a little bit of white. Like I said, I want that edge to be just a little bit of contrast. But yeah, even though I've only worked with this so far, like as far as using this material, I would definitely recommend the Neocolor to use to anybody who wants to like play a little bit more with their work, because the way they feel, because it is literally it is wax pastels, they feel like crayons, and some people just even describe them as crayons, and it gives you that kind of like sense of like kid in kindergarten kind of feeling, but It's also like a professional quality art material, so there's that. So that's pretty cool. This spot's like really light. I don't know what color I want to put in there. I don't want to put in the turquoise because I've already done a bit of turquoise. How about some cobalt blue? A little bit of cobalt blue interspersed with the light cobalt. We'll see what it looks like when it gets wet, because once you add water to the pigments, they can do all kinds of things. I'm being a little bit more specific about doing like linear type strokes because I've seen some areas where like I haven't, either I didn't dissolve the pigment all the way or it's actually like stained the surface a little bit. This spot, I know I didn't dissolve all the pigment. I can tell that's definitely like random brush strokes. I'm trying to make sure that's up here, touching the surface, not the planet. Alright, so wetting the brush. Let's make a mess. Just wet brush, put out a bunch of water, let it do its thing. And yeah, I'm not blotting the brush off at all, I'm just going like saturating the area with water and letting it figure it out its way. Barely just tapping the brush on the edge of the jar. Put the sands in the way. Let's put that out of the way. I'm gonna just slide this over just a touch. Like a nice fluid stroke. Not sure how wet that area is, so we'll just do it again. I feel like some of this dried in areas already. I don't love it. It's not like the colors that are there, it's just how it happened to move in that spot. Let's see. It's likely to be somewhat damp. I think I'm gonna throw in a little more of the, not the cobalt, but the sapphire. Some of these areas are gonna be a little bit damp. There's small ones gaming in the background. And I don't want to go back in there with brush strokes. I think I'm gonna just go that. I do want these to mix a little bit more though, so I'm gonna grab the long round, only because I haven't been using it. It should be dry, except for any splatter it got from the brush. I'm just going in and moving some of these marks. want this to dissolve. Didn't quite do everything I wanted when I sprayed it with water, but I also want to give it a chance to do its thing. Move an area, tap tap tap. This whole area needs to come down, and I'm just sucking up pigment. Goes the royal blue, a little bit more of the cobalt blue. Really trying not to use them where it's wet, because I know it's going to dull the points pretty quickly. At the same time, I also pigment to push around. A little bit more of the royal blue. I'm gonna rinse that long 8 because being super dry is not helping me anymore. I'm actually gonna grab the regular 8. I did blot it a little bit, but that probably wasn't quite as much as I would hope. You can see some of the lighter pigment starting to move. Oh wow, it's almost 5 already. Alright, I was kind of hoping this would be a 2 and done. I need to do something with this. Let's see. In the darkest areas, architecture, I'm going over the ship with the turquoise blue. Not worried about getting too fiddly with details. I like parts that appear to be structural or have been painted. Perhaps I'm gonna go into those a little bit. I guess there's a shadow. When you look at glass objects or crystal objects, they tend to be a little bit darker for their smaller areas because there's less room for the light to be reflecting through the surface, or at least that's generally what I observe. Kind of want to play towards that. I think the official name for this would be Adrift, but there's something kind of cool about star sailing. So I've described it in the post when I put it up on YouTube, and when Twitch wants to let me upload a photo, I do want to do a little bit darker there. Let's see, I think I'll go in with the cobalt blue. Something about making this balcony a little bit darker. This was like an inset area. So maybe like quarters for the captain. There's a cool little balcony kind of thing. And same thing for the windows. Which I should actually do as a separate bit, but I'm trying to rush it though. I'm gonna do these smaller areas first. Maybe I won't dissolve all of the pigment. For like the crystal bits that I've been like pinning. I don't feel like this is completely done, but unfortunately I have other things going on in the background that I can't really go over by a half hour today like I did last week. I really do like that deep blue. Well, indeed, in comparison to the other colors on the ship. I think I do need to go darker on a couple spots. I hope that doesn't sound too jarring when you are with me as far as like watching the live stream or in the catch up, like the recording of the live stream. I think I have like internal monologue sometimes. It's just like, oh, yeah, I do need to do that, don't I? And it's like nobody's posted in the chat necessarily. I'll just be thinking alone in my head, and you'll hear half the conversation. So, craziness. I definitely need some darker values. The ship's a little bland looking right now. Well, you have to let me know. What do you think? Should I do this for a third week, or should we move on with some miniature sculpting for next week? I'm kind of open on that one. I'm just gonna run over some of these lines. Being careful around the wet areas. We'll see what happens when some of this gets spread out. And just moving that out. Some pigment that wasn't quite dissolved very close to the ship. And it's hurting the effect of the ship moving through the clouds. Galaxy here. I'm just redissolving that, kind of pushing pigment around where I need it. Really the big thing right now is contrast. I don't have enough contrast in here. Let's go in with that cobalt turquoise. No, cobalt blue, sorry. Go ahead and get these mass sun in some of these darker areas. Should probably look at the reference because I'm probably messing some lines up. And while I'm doing that, also gonna tip this a little bit because we have this wash on the planet that's just settling so high up. That'll be really interesting. That run down a little bit. Tempted to push it lower, but I feel like that's in a good spot. Like a shell. Use that as just a very light angle, so that way that stays low. I don't want that washing back up. There's so much like rigging and stuff going on in here. Definitely lost some of my line work. And darker. Gonna have some shadows. Like down across here. Across here. Especially. Give this some depth. Ooh, you know what? We have that atmospheric effect from the planet. We're gonna reflect that up in here. So my whole viewpoint of the ship is like it is made of crystal. It is translucent. That's probably way too dark over there. That's gonna have to get picked up. Thin it out a little bit and throw it across the bow. Like, what happens when you let a paint wash go loose? Figure it out. And now we're 5 minutes over. And I'm hanging out with the long round now. I figured some of these little details. Do that. I feel like maybe I got these backwards. Maybe that was supposed to be up here. I don't know. I'm going real rough with my line work, and I'm not looking at my reference as much as I should. That's okay, because I kind of want to go away from the reference. I want, you know, like a sense of realism, but not too much. Because after all, this is a ship in space. I think I will do the finishing off camera though. About the only thing I'm really looking to do is like sharpen up contrast in some areas. Go ahead and work on the planet's surface here to go ahead and adjust it as well. Like make this a little bit darker up here. And then make the planet surface a little bit darker. So that contrast is looking happier. Actually, that's like perfect over here. You can see, like, once you've dissolved the pigment and you still have some on your brush, you can easily lift it up, move it to other areas. That might be more so the case for using the gessoed board because nothing's really getting absorbed. To increase the shadow over here, more contrast over here. Could be too much. I'm gonna lift a little bit of that. Here with our like cobalt flag. I'll probably change that. Maybe change it to the purple violet. Looks a little bit too much like they could be mistaken as like a white flag. Like, we're not surrendering. That's not what we do here. Actually, that flag's gotta go. Quick decision. Done. Alright. That flag will be a different color next time you see it. Unfortunately, too aware of what time it is. I gotta go, but I don't want to go. I just want to finish painting. So there's that. My small one has not napped. Kids think they know everything. They don't want a nap. Like, you're gonna need a nap. Or I'm gonna need a nap because you didn't nap. I think this is turning out fun. I like it. There's definitely some spots that now that I have some contrast in there, I can go ahead and pop in like some brighter whites to really play off of each other. Alrighty, hopefully my bitrate isn't total garbage as my computer seems to be telling me it is. So fun stuff. I don't know, I'm so on the fence, like maybe I should start live streaming to YouTube instead. Or maybe I should just record videos and then upload. feelings about it. Because I like the immediacy and the accountability of live. I mean, that makes sure that I'm going to be here because I think that you're going to be here. Like, you know, just general viewers online. And I don't know. Yeah, now that I've darkened some areas, I definitely need to come in, sharpen up some highlights. I'm not putting detailed sculptures back here. You can't see them from this far. Just blobs of, there's something over there. Something over there. Good enough. Yeah, I hate to do it, but we're already 10 minutes over, and I gotta go do adulting things. It's that kind of day. But yeah, this video will be available on YouTube by Tuesday. Made it like Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. That way I have plenty of time to work on capturing my photos and doing all the images and descriptions, all that fun stuff. And that's, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about that, but it also has me stressing less about other obligations like schoolwork. While I miss the streaming every day, it's better for my sanity at the moment. Because that's a thing. You don't worry about your sanity, who is? Getting kind of scribbly in here on this edge. So I do want this to be more like clouds on the surface. It's definitely not there yet. I think I need to come in and selectively lift out areas. I also need to very strongly increase the contrast around the surface. Darker overall here. That, and between the indigo and the Prussian blue. Let's get darker up here. Let's do royal blue now. I'm gonna stick with the indigo. The indigo has like is very violet leaning compared to the Prussian. The Prussian blue is all nice and dark too. I still want to keep that sense of movement here, so I'm not trying to lose that, but I am trying to subtly darken this off to the edges. I also need to darken like the literal edges of this because I haven't worked on the sides yet. This needs some more contrast too. Yeah, this is definitely not done. It's not gonna be done today. But my camera's yelling at me about low battery, and I'm over on time. So it looks like that'll be it for today. But it's been a fun journey, and we still have more to go, and yeah, I'll figure it out as I go. So thanks so much for joining me, and again, like, let me know here on Twitch if you want to see more of this, or if you just want to see the finished. And then on Tuesday, this will be available on YouTube. Maybe I should change my posts so I have time to like get comments before the next stream. So right now it's kind of like back-to-back kind of days. I don't know. We'll see. But it's been a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to popping some more details in here because this is not done in my book. I don't know, maybe I'll go over the top with colored pencil, because like this is great for the broad strokes. I feel like either I'll be dissolving pigment on like a separate palette and then bringing that to the piece. I don't know if I want to keep doing that, so... Or, I don't know if I want to start doing that, I should say. I kind of like the immediacy of the drawing right now. That's been a really, really welcome change in working on this. I definitely have missed drawing, and it's fun when I get to, and maybe I'll play around more with that, because, like, water-soluble media is kind of fun to do. We'll see. But anyways, for now, keep on drawing, and have a great day, and see you next week.